We know there are many choices in internet radio, and the staff and host of LA Talk Live would like to thank you for choosing the internet's hottest destination for the most eclectic sound and invigorating talk. This is LA Talk Live. We are more than just talk.
What's up and welcome. This is Ro Williams and this is latalklive.com and the Gospel Rhythm Show, gospelrhythms.com, Talk Live Radio. And there's no need to adjust your dial. To my left is not Trisha Mann-Grant. Our team is actually under the weather today, but you know, God is good. Resurrection Sunday, he saw fit to still, you know, get us here. And thank you so much, our guest, our special guest, all the way from Iowa, Travis Lloyd.
Thank you for having me. I am blessed to be here with you.
Oh my God. And you guys that are tuned in, please, you know, Facebook, tweet, Instagram, you know, whatever other social networking outlets that you can do, pick up the phone, pick up your cell phone, knock on your neighbor's door. It's going to be a great show today. I wanted to have you in at the top of the show, so I would I'll hear about myself.
So I can hang out during the beginning?
I almost forgot our show. I was like, what show is this? Oh yeah, this gospelrhythms.com, Talk Live Radio, Life Edition. I'm like, brain fart. But we are on the LA Talk Live Network, and we are seen on our other affiliates in Atlanta, Houston, St. Louis, Boston, New York, New Orleans, Miami. Shout outs to you all, as well as across the world. So we don't take that lightly. And on Resurrection Sunday, it just so reminds me of what he came to do. He came to die so that we might live. And I'm very grateful for Jesus, our Lord and Savior. So did you do church today? I know you're on a circuit tour. You came all the way down here from San Diego.
You know, I tried to make it this morning, but I couldn't with my travel schedule. So I ended up doing a brunch with some family friends.
That's good.
That was nice. And hopefully, if I have time, I might be able to make an evening service here in LA.
Yeah. No, are you flying out late tonight or tomorrow?
No, I'm actually in LA until early Wednesday morning. Then I have to go to an event where I'm speaking at a university in Tennessee on Wednesday.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, we're gonna talk about, you know, just how, because I can't remember. I have to see how long we've been friends on Facebook, but we actually met on Facebook. You know, out here doing our individual ministries. I think it was your hip hop artistry, because we had put on a showcase, and you had reached out, and you're gonna hear.
Oh yeah.
And that was in 2013. And so stick around, because when the show ends, you're actually going to see him perform live. It's good. It's so exciting. I mean, I gotta tell you, he does it all. I want to properly introduce you, but first I just want to, because normally at the top of our show when Trisha is here, Trisha, I hope you're feeling better. We talk about the lovely guests we've had the week before, and lovely they were. Rory Darvell, he is just an awesome friend of ours. He actually will sit in at times when Trisha has to be out of town, and he was in with a lovely lady, Siobhan Champagne. I hope I pronounced that right. Forgive me, girl, if I didn't. But they were in to promote an event, Journey Through the Jungle Boogie. And one of the things, you know, as Christians, that we try to, you know, share balanced living. You know, this is considered our life edition, but it could also be our entertainment and music edition, because there's so many facets of who you are and what you do. And although Journey Through the Jungle Boogie was not necessarily a faith-based product or event, you know, was one that was bringing live music back to the California area, and it was something that you can bring your whole family to.
Yeah.
You know, they had like 16-piece band, you know, and you know, really full out show at a price that weren't Beyonce rates. You know.
Wow. When was this?
This was last Saturday. This was yesterday, actually.
I think I saw you post about it online. I was like, if only I was already in California.
Exactly. Yeah, and for a 16-piece band, the tickets were only $30. Rory's going to kill us because we didn't make it. But we love you, Rory. Get you on the next one. I'm sure he's going to post something about us. But I love him because, you know, he, like you, is very passionate, because he has his artistry that he creates outlets for him to showcase.
Sure.
But he has a regular job, you know, and does his thing, and he makes time to play. He plays hard, you know. He'll go on cruises, and you know, we sit back at the front lines and
Family
we're like,
time.
wow, how do you do that? You know, because, you know, you have to love yourself and take care of yourself and believe in yourself. And we'll talk about how we can do that.
Yeah.
We talk about
that's one of my favorite topics.
overcome emotional trauma. And we also had the prodigal son. Now, the prodigal son, I love him. He, Manuel Guillermo, he is a hip hop artist. And so he was here to promote his latest album project that was coming out. And I love it because it's entitled The Enemy Target. And his, we have a picture of it, but I'll show you on my computer. I love that the artwork, it has a scope, and it's like, wow. Like it really says, like that's real. Like the enemy wants to take you out. Like he's a sniper, and you're out here, trying to do your thing and give your gifts and walk your walk. And he, hopefully you guys will get to meet. You should friend him on Facebook.
Every temptation.
He, he used to be in gangs, and he came from you heard generational welfare families, and he had a generation of gang members after gang members after gang members, and so he shared his testimony about coming out of that life and how Victory Outreach. Have you ever heard of Victory Outreach? They have an awesome program that really looks to win back the kids that are on the streets and have gravitated into being gangs. So,
oh, nice.
Yes. So with that being said, we are so grateful to have had you guys in last week. And if you tuned in last week, you can always go for the rebroadcast on latalklive.com. Or if you didn't, please go back and check it out. Rebroadcast, latalklive.com. But today, we have an awesome, it's like, where do I begin talking about our guest today? Like I stated earlier, he is a motivator, an influencer, and a teacher. And he actually, I'm what do you call it when you take somebody's plagiarizing words? But it kind of gives you a snapshot of who our guest is today. So we're going to go to commercial, and when we come back, I'm going to break it down to you. I'm going to commercial because, I really want you to do a call to action. Go do some social networking and let's network, because if you know anybody that's dealing with anyone who needs to overcome something that's deeply rooted and emotionally traumatizing, or that is challenging, trying to figure out, God, why am I even here? Life isn't worth it. We have a guest who, he may not look like where he's been, but he's been some places, okay? And I know you said, Iowa, what kind of trouble? Because I said, what kind of trouble can you get in Iowa? But, he has a past, he has a history, and we're going to share that, and he's going to share exactly, how he was able to come out. He is amazing. So please come back. We'll be right back with Gospel Rhythms Talk Live. GospelRhythms.com, Talk Live Radio on LATalkLive.com. Play Twisters.
Rappers, spoken word and actors and business owners, playwrights and pastors and many gifts to encourage the body. Consider this an invitation, come and kick it and party. We're evolving the way we deliver the gospel. Same message, different method, redefine the apostles. And through Christ, we're empowered to shine. Everybody's VIP, ain't no way in the line. GospelRhythms.com, we make the word jam. The beat to which we live, we about to take the land. Let them know about Jesus, the anointed one. Gave us power and authority to get it done. He opens doors, so you don't gotta kick.
Did you know sickle cell disease is the most common genetic disorder in the world? In fact, millions of people are affected by sickle cell across the globe. Don't you think that a disorder of this magnitude deserves more attention? Get educated. Create awareness today. This ad was sponsored by Sickle Cell 101 Education Plus Awareness. Please visit sc101.org. That's sc101.org to learn more.
What would your life be like if you needed blood transfusions every 2 or 3 weeks just to survive, and if you had to worry about all the iron from that blood making your heart and liver shut down? That's just what life is like for a person with thalassemia. If 2 people who each carry the trait for thalassemia have a child, there's a 25% chance with each pregnancy that the child will have thalassemia. For more information, visit the Cooley's Anemia Foundation at www.thalassemia.org. That's THALASSEMIA, or call 212-279-8090.
Hey, what's up? We're back with GospelRhythms.com, Talk Live Radio on LATalkLive.com. I'm Ro Williams, and this is
Travis Lloyd.
Hey, our special guest in the house today, man. Travis, it's like I have so many areas to begin. Where do I begin? Well, let's just talk about those of you who are family know that Kids in the Spotlight, our at-risk youth program, is near and dear to our heart. And, we could rattle off statistics to you all day till Jesus comes back. We do know that the system is in need of really solid support systems, for lack of a better word, or tools. Relationships. That's even the better tool, because systems sound very some organic relationships that are very real. And so let me just say that less than 20% of foster youth ever graduate from high school. Less than 3% ever graduate with a bachelor's degree before the age of 25, and less than 1% ever make it through the application process of a doctoral program. But our guest today has evaded all of these statistics and has dedicated his life to helping others break barriers and achieve more. Now, you might not believe this, but hey, all I can say is look at God. Having grown up experiencing foster care, shelters, and being institutionalized all before the age of 13, Travis Lloyd offers a very real, honest, unique perspective on overcoming adversities. That perspective, paired with real-life stories of literally taking suicidal individuals off the ledge as a mobile crisis worker, inspired a goal of helping more people live happier and achieve success through mental, emotional, spiritual, and physical wellness. It's so much. I could just go on and go on, emphasizing the power of connection and relationships, like you said, in all areas of life. And I love that, because so many people compartmentalize, and it's like, it's no, it's not just, it's every area, mental, physical, relational, vocational, emotional, mental, every area. He shares how just one person at a time saved him from a life of hopelessness, and how to be that one person to others. Amazing. Like, it just takes one. Just one.
Really?
Just one.
Really?
Wow. Mr. Lloyd, our guest, is the author of this awesome book, Overcoming Emotional Trauma, Life Beyond Survival Mode. Wow. Is it hot off the press? How many months has it been out? You can get this on Amazon, of course.
All you have to do is Google search for it, and you'll find it. There's actually even a fully produced video that talks about the impact of trauma on the website.
Would that be? I was going to say, would that be your website? And what website would that be?
And that's overcomingemotionaltrauma.com. Easy to find.
Yay.
And it's been out now for about a year and a half.
Now, among the other plates that he spins, which we'll mention throughout the show, so you might want to get a paper and some pad, because he'll probably have some resource information, especially if you know somebody who is really in need of something like this, or that one person, reaching out to that one person. You never know. So just come expectant, and please reach out to share. You continue to advocate as a board member of Foster Care Alumni of America. You love producing videos. And yes, you write, you're a lyricist, hip-hop artist, MC, and you do poetry. I'm like, what else don't you do, okay? And all of this, I think I was looking on your, let's see, here, I'm like, speaker, life coach, hip-hop artist, changing lives, entertainment, RN, BSN. I was like, what's a BSN? And you said...
I said that just means I'm full of BS.
No, Bachelor of Science in Nursing, Emergency Department. No, you're not, actually. So I'm just amazed. I mean, can we just give him a round of applause? Especially,
Thank you.
And then let's keep it 100. I need you to, before we get into your mission to be that one person, and you'll give that person a shout out who helped you. At what point between birth and the age of 13, did you even have an awareness that life could be better? Because a lot of people out there think that their circumstances define who they are.
Their situation, between the ages of 8 and 13, I think there was one moment where I reconnected with some family that I did not know existed. When I was living in Seattle, when I was in my first couple of foster homes, and I ended up meeting my aunt and uncle that I never knew I even had.
And why were you were your parents on drugs? Did they just abandon you? Like,
Sure.
what were those circumstances?
Yeah, I mean, there's tons of reasons why people enter the system, but for me, it was really the epitome of multi-generational cycles recreated in my parents, and they both had their own cycles. One on one side, an extreme level of alcoholism and mental and emotional neglect and abuse, and on the other side, ranging from sexual abuse, neglect, and all of the above.
And you're saying it was from generation to generation being passed down?
So that's what both of my parents had experienced. And then by the time they were, by the time I was 6 and 7, all of that kind of came to a head with them and turned into a home really filled with turmoil. Yeah,
because it has to be. And if the system takes a child, you can just imagine that means parents are unfit.
Yeah,
let's just keep it 100 for whatever reasons they're unfit, and now the child is displaced. And you're not placed with other family members who can love on you. You're bounced around.
And that's a really cool thing that I think is important when it comes to, I know we're not going to focus on this, but when it comes to the child welfare system is foster care and advocating for improving the system, one of the things that the system fails in oftentimes is not putting in the extra work to try and locate biological family members who might be able to step in.
Right.
And so that's really... that's anyway, that's a really important thing for me. Yeah.
So was it someone who was your foster family that as you began to grow in the system, was that one person that was there for you?
So the first person that showed up was my aunt. And they ended up by the time I was 14, they ended up taking me in.
Right.
And between the ages of 10 and 13, my aunt, who had an education and had a middle class lifestyle, which was very different than anything I had experienced, she started to kind of expose me to that and expose me to what it means to have abundance in certain aspects of life, and
just being able to
saw it.
Just being able to have consistency as far as this is really your home. This is really your bedroom. You're not going to move from here. These are friends you can make for a lifetime unless they move out of the neighborhood because we're not going anywhere. Like, that's a real experience because I grew up with that.
Yeah.
So it's foreign to me to grow up in a place where, your parents are unfit or your parents lack the tools and the skills because they weren't taught to be able to manage their children or their kids or their household properly.
And even though between the ages of 8 and 13 I didn't have that, and it was very, it was up and down. I was in and out of group homes, shelters, emergency shelters. I was institutionalized for a month at one point. And when they put the wires on your head and they're doing all these electromagnetic testing,
make sure you're not crazy.
But in between those times, my aunt would kind of feed into my life, and she would give me $20 to mow her yard sometimes, so that I would be able to have food without stealing.
So, did you ever actually live with her? Did she ever?
When I was
take
14, they took me in.
Okay.
Yeah, but between the ages of 8 and 13, 14, that's kind of how she fed into me periodically. And then it was right around that age of 13, 14 also when I was on probation, and I was breaking into cars and stealing. I would steal cigarettes from the gas station, and then I would upsell them. I would take cartons and I would take the individual packages out and upsell them to older teenagers.
Right.
So and that's how I made money to be able to buy food. And
now, but you weren't on the streets at this point. You were in the system, but you just wanted what you wanted, not what they were offering you.
Well, that's the thing is I didn't really have structured services in the system.
Gotcha.
I kind of fell through the cracks of a lot of that. So most of the time before I moved in with my aunt and uncle, I was living with my bio mom in between placements, where I didn't have support, where I didn't have food, where I didn't have, and so much of the time I was on the streets. Now in that area, I wasn't in a huge urban setting, but the streets is the streets, and you learn the way.
Right. Now, are you only child? Do you have brothers and sisters?
I have a sister. We have different fathers, but I didn't know that till I was older, so it's my sister. She's 6 years older. Yeah.
Right. So did she have the same experience as you, or no?
Well, since she's older, her experience was very, very different from mine. So when I was starting to get sad and crying and like running and hiding when things got really turned into turmoil, she started acting out and doing drugs, joined a gang in Seattle, running away, those types of things. So by the time my parents divorced and my dad had a restraining order and my mom ended up seeking help and being admitted into the psych unit, and I went to foster care, by the time all that happened, she was already in rehab 3 hours away.
Wow.
Yeah.
How's she doing today?
She's surprised she's alive. So in that sense, she's amazing. She still struggles with a lot of things that I was able to be provided to. The basic things that we need to learn when it comes to managing finances and
let's talk
having
about that,
having a normal a household. She didn't get that because she was older and dropped out of high school, and and so by the time my aunt gave me a stable life, she was already on her own.
Gone.
Yeah,
and that's another thing to note. The education is very important.
Huge,
I mean,
huge.
You were snatched at a good time, and while you were still in your high school years.
Yeah.
And let's talk about that. What made you want to pursue education as opposed to dropping out and getting a job at the car wash?
It's funny. So here's the
because you
thing.
pursued some real education. Okay, we will talk about that.
So here's the thing. My realm of pursuing education came because I got broken. I had to get broken down hard, and when I had a stable life. With my aunt and uncle, I was able to focus. Like I didn't have anything else to focus on anymore. I didn't have to worry about finding food or being safe. So I was able to okay, well, your job is go to school and go to wrestling practice.
And when you talk about the relationship, versus the system and the institution that it is, you had love. Yeah, which is a huge
gap.
Huge component.
Which is why it was so important to try and find biofamily. But so the thing is that for me, I didn't see education as important still, because when it came down to me finding my identity, I still found it in my parents and in my mom and my sister, both who were going through really, really extensive cycles still. I mean, my sister was hooked on meth for 10 years, and my mom, became a stripper at one point. And
so it's almost like you're saying, by looking at your parents, you can't imagine you being anything greater than they were.
Yeah.
They're like, that is the bar.
And since there's so much stereotype and stigma in the world, just being associated with them as my family, that's what everyone expected of me. Right. And so then by the time I'm like 17, 18, trying to find who I'm going to be in the world, I start thinking, okay, my probation officer told me I was going to be horrible and I was going to be in prison. My teachers don't expect much of me. So screw it. I mean, everyone thinks I'm a druggie anyway, even though I've never touched drugs in my life, because I already saw my sister almost die from an overdose. So like everyone expects me to do this. So that's what I started doing, and my behavior started getting bad. I started having nightmares from my childhood, things that I didn't remember.
Right.
And that's when it hit me, is I was kind of yelling and cussing at my aunt, saying, I'm grown, I do what I want.
Sure. That's when you get kicked. In my household, that's when you get kicked out.
And that's exactly what happened. And I showed up. What happened was I showed up, and we lived on a farm at the time, right? And I had never lived on a farm before.
No, really?
Oh my gosh!
I can't imagine that in Iowa. Isn't that where Superman
there are real cities in Iowa, but
I'm just saying. And I just have to point this out. Notice, it's not culturally confined to any particular race. Anybody can fall in between the cracks of desperation and despair. I think it's the same thing, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
You'll figure it out.
So when I was doing that, it got to a point, like I was driving back to this farmhouse, and I pulled up to the farmhouse, and I see my aunt. It's like Saturday mornings. I've been out partying all night the night before.
She changed the lock
and
for you, didn't she?
She didn't need to. I didn't even have a key.
Oh.
Because we never locked the door out on a farm.
That day.
But when I showed up, she slid the sliding glass door shut and locked it right in front of me and had tears in her face.
Wow.
And I just knew right there I had gone too far, and that was like, I'm done, like I'm out. And so I left, and I'm like crying, I'm sobbing, I'm driving away, and
Well, we got so much landscape to cover. So fast forward to when you woke up and came to yourself.
Yeah,
I mean,
so after that moment, 3 months later, put myself through anything and everything, and then realized, okay, like my aunt showed me this. My 8th grade teacher told me that I could be something and that I could be successful, and I witnessed X, Y, and Z of people being successful, and then I woke up and realized I'm recreating the life that I saw my sister live. What in the world am I doing? And I went back to my aunt in tears. She sat me down and showed me that she had already forced me, and I didn't even know what I did. She had forced me to fill out my college applications 8 months previously.
Wow. Well, how does faith factor into all of this? Because I hear a lot of things, but how does faith factor?
Sure.
Because it must have seed of faith to get some of the stuff popping, and you're doing a lot of stuff. So enlighten us.
Yeah. Well, for me, there were many times in my life where I felt like it just wouldn't get better, and there's nothing more. But I remember when I was real young, my paternal grandmother, she would, every time I saw her, she would just pray for me, and she would just always kind of tell me, whatever you're going through isn't your fault. You're capable of this. You just have to have faith. And then over time, it kind of broke me to a point where I said, okay, there's got to be something better. And through the years, I kind of found my way back to just learning how to pray and learning how to have that alone time. And even while I was in the midst of being real bad, I would still fall to my knees with that sometimes, and it just kind of gives me a moment of clarity.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, now let's talk about the birth of the baby, one of the babies.
Sure.
Overcoming emotional trauma, life beyond survival mode. What was the epiphany that came and overwhelmed you in the moment that you sat down and began to pen even the title of what it was going to be? Like, what did something happen? Was there a catalyst, or you just reflected back, just had one of those moments looking back on your life saying, I really need to write about this because I want to be that one person that one person was for me. With my 8th grade teacher, my aunt.
It was really just the same as what helped me go to college. It was one person at a time saying, hey, gosh, like somebody heard about my life when I was 18. Somebody heard about my life when I was 12. I would tell a story about some of the crazy things I was involved in when I was doing illegal things while also studying science and working in a nursing home at the same time. And every time we would talk to somebody, they would say, gosh, you really should just write a book. And so that I was told that several times over a course of probably 5 to 6 years. And then I ended up meeting a psychologist who used a video that I produced several years ago in a training that he was doing. And he reached out to me and asked me for permission to use it. And he ended up saying, hey, I really support what you're doing, and I think that you can do something awesome. Let me know when you're ready to write your book.
And he shepherded you through the process?
And he didn't. I mean, he didn't shepherd me through it, but he encouraged me through it.
Right.
Yeah.
So what would you say to someone who's listening who is at I don't know, maybe this is a day of reflection for them, or maybe not, because it's not easy you're looking at in a rebroadcast, but they're saying, it sounds like, it happened for you, but how do I, without giving up on myself, I have, and I think we talked about this before the show starts. So it not necessarily, as I was sharing with you off camera, like overcoming emotional trauma. Anybody that had their heart broke, everybody, it's on some level we can at least have a frame of reference of what it feels like to be emotionally hurt.
Sure.
If you ever broke an arm, or if you ever got a cut, or if you ever got a burn, I mean, that's pain. But it's something when your spirit that's inside you, that hoorah, internal cheerleader gets broken down or frustrated, or or I think I used the word off camera as after disappointment, trying to rise above the ashes of their circumstances, because much like you were disappointed in your parents and disappointed in the system and and it may not have manifest itself in you being like, oh, I'm really disappointed that you're not really working out for me, but in terms of you acting out, so to speak, like, okay, you're not going to feed me, I'm going to go steal. I'll make it happen or whatever. But for someone who is, for that person that's out there that is desiring to make an impact, you know, and they want to be the one, like someone was the one for them, but they can't seem to break. Like, how do you, because you're a motivational speaker, so how do you cheerlead the cheerleader when the cheering is old and worn out?
It's, you know, I think the biggest thing is you have to believe that you are not alone in this. You have to know that there's so many other people who struggle the same way you are. Because when you feel alone and you isolate, even if you're in the midst of being active in your community or in your church, if you feel alone, then that tells you that you're not good enough. And so if you can overcome that thought process, that one thing is going to really open the doors for recognizing other things. And once you can come to peace with that and not beat yourself up over the fact that you have negative thoughts or you have struggles with breaking through with things, then you open the door for that. The next thing is you have to be able to look at other people as equals, because so many people will look at somebody who's accomplished things and think, I can't do that. When in actuality, if you can simply find a way to say, you know what, I'm pretty smart, in this person who's doing something that I admire, they're probably pretty smart too, but they just found a different path, and they were afforded an opportunity because of that path. And so what I've done consistently through the years is I find that person, I interview them, I talk to them, all the way to the point of getting knocked down and rejected over and over and over until I just kind of catch one little sliver of how they accomplished it.
Wow, you know who also, it's called role modeling. I think Waking the Giant Within. What's his name?
Oh, Tony.
Yeah, he talks about that.
Tony Robbins.
Like, you know, find someone where you aspire and desire to be, asked them to sit and meet with you for an hour. And I like that you mentioned the word rejection, because you have to have tough skin. I personally am working on getting tough, because I was like, oh, you know, nobody likes the feeling of being rejected. Yeah. You know, whether you're making a sales call, whether you're pitching an idea, you want people to celebrate and love what you do, or at least not tell you that your baby is that ugly. You know, like, your baby is ugly, you need to get all kind of Botox, reconstructive surgery. But I'm like, I worked hard on this child, you know. So what would you say? I mean, have you experienced that, or you just, how do you deal with when you do a product, whether it's your music or maybe something that you have done and it doesn't get well received, or you or trying to get that meeting with someone who may be able to open a door to the next step, or you see that they're where you aspire to be, but they're just not trying to give you the love, and you're like, we're not going to take your call today.
So what I realized is every time that happened, it was because I hadn't worked on myself enough. So every time I got rejected, it was an opportunity to learn about how their process worked. Every time I got rejected trying to birth a project, whether I'm trying to reach you know, at one time I dedicated 3 weeks of my life to produce a video to try and get Oprah to look at it. Right?
Okay, like, I remember, because it was she had and you were like, go and vote for the video. Yeah. She had some type of, like, I don't know, she's an Oprah gang, but it was a contest, and everybody had to upload for. Did anybody ever win? Because she was supposed to be picking.
Yeah, she picked a few people, and then kind of had her producers work with them to create stuff. But it was all a publicity stunt to launch her network. Yeah. And so for me, like, in my heart, I was like, I got to go for this, right? Yeah. But in the end, it was just a huge rejection. It was a huge rejection. But through that process, I learned. And I learned how to write press releases, and I got our local news outlets to play the video that I produced. I learned how to communicate in the media world. I learned how to put together a proposal for a project idea. And even though in the end there was no point in any of it.
You mean in terms of getting a meeting with Oprah?
Yeah, there was no point.
But that's a great illustration of how the manure of the rejection could actually be the fertilizer that helps birth other gifts that you would have never otherwise even ventured it to try to do had you just said, that's all right, I'll just pass this one up. It's like ridiculous. Oprah's here, I'm here, and who knows, you still will get that meeting with her, if not her, somebody else.
And through that process, I ended up meeting one of her primary producers because I found out that producer was going to be speaking at a university, so I drove to that university.
All right, now that's called persistence. How did that go?
Oh, she was very nice. She gave me their corporate mailing address and said I could send information if I wanted to. Yeah.
Wow. Well, you know what? We're going to take a break. And when we go out to break, I want to, because you have music and we're talking about the author, but I want to go out to playing one of your tunes. And here. And let's see. You have a song called Don't Be a Go-Getter, A Better Approach. Wait,
that's not music? A song. That's not a song.
Oh, wait.
That's actually a presentation.
Okay, so which one? Yeah. You're going to do this one, though,
Yeah,
right?
Take Me Away. And the Future is another song.
Okay, so we're going to play Future. You want to set it up a little bit? What's that about?
Oh, Future. So Future is basically a song that I wrote. Like, I was riding around in my car, just bumping this beat and trying to figure out, like, what is it I want the world to take away, and how do I want them to feel? And it was, and in that moment, I was like, I am living in my future. I don't have to wait for the future. I can live who I want to be right now if I decide to. And that's what the chorus is.
Wow, I love that. All right, well, we're going to kick it with some Future. So, as I said before, I mean, what doesn't he do? I'm like, and you're going to see him and hear the beats, and you're like, nah, that ain't him. I'm like, yeah. Well, there's a video, but we'll tell you how to go check that out.
Ever been held back by another that didn't see your vision? All I want you to do is listen. I'm living in the future, my future is today. I got my feet planted, I will never sway. Look me in my eyes, you will see I'm not afraid. I've been through enough to not care what you say. Living in the future, my future is today. I got my feet planted, I will never sway. Look me in my eyes, you will see I'm not afraid. I've been through enough to not care what you say. I'm seeing visions in my brain that I never would have seen if it wasn't for the stars that we can arrange. Or is it a lie? I love it when it rains, cause the rainbow is mine. I'm on another level. I'ma go get a hard hit, a goal setting jet setup. I got love, I would put that on my ex's tenor. And I ain't tripping, I'm just saving up for something better. So if you see it, you can wave bye-bye. You can wave it to them haters too. Haters do what them haters do. And back in the day, I done fell for it too. See, I was a child just trying to get through. Hustling and grinding just to get food. I drew the Nike symbol on just to fit too. But then I realized it wasn't matter over-minded. It was time for me to hustle all the time. I'm living in the future, my future is today. I got my feet planted, I will never sway. Look me in my eyes, you will see I'm not afraid. I've been through enough to not care what you say. Living in the future, my future is today. I got my feet planted, I will never sway. Look me in my eyes, you will see I'm not afraid. I've been through enough to not care what you say. I've been there, done that. I ain't trying to go back.
Radio and the staff and host of LA Talk Live would like to thank you for choosing the internet's hottest destination for the most eclectic sound and invigorating talk. This is LA Talk Live. We are more than just talk.
Hi, this is Marsha Waiteka, inviting you to join me every Monday at 1 p.m. for Born to Talk, where conversation plus connections equal community. Be sure to tune in to Born to Talk with Marsha Waiteka, Mondays at 1 p.m. Pacific, exclusively on latalklive.com. You can also listen live at iTunes Radio R&B, TuneIn Radio, Radio Flag, Live 365, or AHA Radio. This is Reality Radio, handcrafted for your listening and viewing pleasure. We are LA Talk Live, and we are born to talk.
Hi, this is Frank. And this is Ruslan. Inviting you to join us every Thursday, 1 p.m. Pacific, for Cool Classics. Join us as we discuss classical cool in the arts, what has happened, what is happening, and what will happen. So don't forget to tune in to Cool Classics every Thursday, 1 p.m. Pacific, exclusively on latalklive.com. You can also catch us on iTunes Radio R&B, Radio Flag, TuneIn Radio, AHA Radio, TiVo Radio, and Apple TV Radio. Or just watch and listen directly at Cool Classics on latalklive.com. Classic radio handcrafted for your listening and viewing pleasure. This is LA Talk Live, and this is Frank.
And this is Ruslan.
And we are more than just talk.
Take me away. Take me away.
Like Marvin Gaye. Can't you see what's going on?
Hey, what's up, and welcome back to GospelRhythms.com, Talk Live Radio, and LATalkLive.com. I'm Ro Williams, sitting here with
Travis Lloyd.
Yes, Trisha Mann-Grant is out ill today. We pray her and our intern Josh well, because they're a little under the weather. Happy Resurrection Sunday to everyone. And man, if you have just tuned in, you're a little late, tardy to the party, as the Real Housewife would say.
Oh, we catch the replay.
Yeah, you catch the replay. But 323-473-3100 is our number. We're sitting here with, I mean, what doesn't he do? Do you cook? Because he's an author, a hip hop artist, a motivational speaker. I mean, a teacher. But I love the fact, an influencer. I love the fact that the back of his card simply says, I help people. I help people. And I find it so admirable when a person, in spite of the fact that you were in the foster care system and you were bounced around and you fell through the cracks at various times between the ages of birth and 13, that you came out of a mindset, got your education. How high did you go? You got your RN?
So I did my RN and I finished my BSN, and I went through the acceptance process of a doctoral program, but had this moment of clarity at one point where I said, you know what? The program that I was doing, I was going to become a psychiatric nurse practitioner, be prescribing psychotropic medications, and I really found that I believed that there was a better way to fix that, and I didn't want to be prescribing
a holistic way, isn't that?
Yeah.
And that stays in line with your heart agenda of helping people in a way that your goal is to get them out the system of needing those drugs. Like you found a way out of the system through your faith, out of having to be still in the system. Because people that are young people that are in the system, they tend to go from there to the institutions. Once they come out of foster care, they're left to their own. And what do? They're the people that oftentimes, like you as an adolescent, look to feed yourself through stealing food. I mean, if you don't have provisions just to exist, I think that oftentimes we find that those kids that have fallen through the cracks of society are the ones that commit the crimes, and that's why we really need to create what was it that you called it? I don't want to say institutions, but relationships and programs that offer those relationships. And even if it's a one-man project, the project of Travis Lloyd, because he will come to a foster care or a institution, a school near you, to speak with your young people, because that is one of the many things that he also does, and he can perform at. I don't know if you just joined in, but that track was his, called Future, and he talked a little bit about what inspired him. And I love the fact that you're like, your future is now. You take ownership of it. And I love the fact that when you shared about your parents and how the generation cycle of abuse and drugs and alcohol was being, the baton was being passed down to you, you have that moment where you reflected back on the one person that was, whether it was your aunt or the 8th grade teacher, that sowed a seed of life in you. That's why it's so important to speak life, especially to ourselves, so that when you looked at where your parents were, you didn't say that's all you could be. For that moment, you caught yourself out of that. So many people
fall into that.
Yeah. And thus was the birth of Overcoming Emotional Trauma, Life Beyond Survival Mode. Let's talk about that.
Sure.
What does that look like?
Gosh, well, the whole premise of the book is basically to help people learn how to better reflect on how situations in their lives impact the way that they view the world right now. And oftentimes, if you can reflect on that with a new perspective, which the book offers, then you can recognize patterns and cycles that are keeping you where you're at, preventing you from being able to think bigger.
Right.
And the book comes from...
You just said something, preventing you from thinking bigger.
Yes. If you can't think it, if you can't envision it, you can't start taking a step towards it.
So I used to have the saying, if you can dream it, if you can imagine it, you can dream it. If you can dream it, you can become it.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, our guest here today has a book out. He produces videos, and I mean, I saw the music video, but he also produces videos that will help promote and sell your business. And we may be talking about that for about gospel rhythm. I want to tap
those are my passion projects.
Check it out. Yeah. I'm going to be meeting with it. This is my first meeting. You know, he's inspired me to elevate the game. And then you have I mean, just your heart agenda to just help people across the board, but the fact that, you know, you're out the box thinker.
Yeah.
So it's like you don't have to be in one lane, and that's one of my takeaways from just being blessed having you here on the show, because, you know, we are so not maxing out our potential. I call this the life fully loaded show, because when you have somebody who has had the challenges, it's almost like I'm like, it's really sad, Rosina, because you didn't have half the obstacles that he had, and like you know you have a book in you too. You know what I mean? And I think that it's very inspiring, you know, and I admire the fact that you go. Now, you were just somewhere speaking in San Diego.
Yeah.
Tell us about that.
Oh, sure. So the reason I was able to come here or even be in California is because the government agency, the San Diego County Department of Child Welfare Services, hired me for their social work month appreciation event. So they had all like 400 or 500 social workers from San Diego County come in, and I got to do an inspirational keynote, kind of sharing some of my story, much like some of my book does, but also inspire and encourage them to live a healthy, well-balanced mental, emotional, spiritual, and physical aspects of life.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, it's just amazing. I might have to call Taji. What are you doing after the show? Because you know, the kids at our foster care homes, they actually they're in workshop even on Easter, and Ty Burrell is actually going to be there. He's on the Modern Family. He won an Emmy for Modern Family. He's our organization spokesperson. And so they're at one of the facilities today working out. And usually I can't go on Sundays because I'm here, but I don't know how late they run. But I definitely, if you can't meet her or, you know, on this trip, I definitely want you to meet Taji Charity. I'll send you links so you can like view the program, because I think, like, you know, we all intertwine and cross-pollinate. It just only make a bigger field of flowers and be that much more blossoming and productive. So I guess it's about that time to toss the commercial one more time, because we are going to end the show with Travis Lloyd performing. Now, set up what this song is going to be that you're going to take away.
Sure. So the song is called Take Me Away, and it's a song that I really wrote to kind of embody some of the things that I believe in and that I advocate for to improve communities. So the song talks about, and the lyrics reference, some of the statistics related to at-risk youth and education or lack thereof, as well as the chorus kind of focuses on some of the confessions of my own life and the struggles that I've had.
All right, so that's overcoming emotional trauma. If they need to get in touch with you to learn more about you coming to speak as a motivational to the organization, whether it be a foster care speaker or to the people that care for the foster kids in the system, as well as
I do anything from colleges and universities to high schools and corporate. So to inspire and educate and help people live life on a higher level. So,
but how can they get in touch with you?
You can find me at www.travisloyd.net, and you can tweet me at Travis Lloyd.
Yes, and you could always check in with us if you need to find that, if you didn't happen to have a pen on you. So when we come back, we are going to have him close us out
with a performance.
Yeah. We'll be right back with GospelRhythms.com, Talk Live Radio, and LATalkLive.com.
He opens doors, so you don't gotta kick him down. I wrote this to remind you, so stick around. For heaven party here on earth. Praise God always, and we keeping them first.
Gospel rhythms, cast a vision. It's party here on earth. Make it play. Gospel rhythms, cast a vision. Heaven's party
to join me every Wednesday at noon for Elena's Beauty Talk and more, exclusively on LA Talk Live. You can also catch us on iTunes Radio, R&B, or watch us on Ustream.tv. Reality radio, handcrafted for your listening pleasure. This is LA Talk Live, and we are more than just talk.
Hey, this is Trisha Mann-Grant, and I am inviting you to join us every Sunday at 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time for Gospel Rhythms Heaven's Party here on Earth. And join us as we talk to the Christians, just not any Christian, but all Christians of entertainment and all walks of life. Don't forget to tune in to Gospel Rhythms Heaven's Party here on Earth every Sunday, 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, exclusively on latalklive.com. You can also catch us on iTunes Radio, RNB, Live 365, Radio Flag, TuneIn Radio, AHA Radio, TiVo Radio, and Apple TV Radio. Or watch and listen directly at latalklive.com. Reality radio handcrafted for your listening and viewing pleasure. This is LA Talk Live, and we are more than just talk.
Hello, I'm Joel Ramirez.
And I'm Lolita Robinson-Coppage, and welcome to Joy in My House
on latalklive.com. Inspirational radio
with a touch of recovery.
A reality show where nothing is left unsaid
and no one is insignificant who says it.
Exclusively on latalklive.com. You can also catch us on iTunes Radio R&B or watch us on Ustream TV.
Reality radio handcrafted for your listening pleasure. This is LA Talk Live, and we are more than just talk.
What's going on?
Hey, this is GospelRhythms.com, Talk Live Radio on LATalkLive.com. I'm Ro Williams. It's been an awesome Life Edition, Entertainment Edition, and now we're going to head it off and close it out with a Music Edition because our guests, oh my goodness, motivation speaker, teacher, educator. I mean, what doesn't he do? Hip hop artist, MC extraordinaire, overcoming emotional trauma, life beyond survival mode. Travis Lloyd is going to drop it. Yeah. We're going to close it out. Thank you so much, Travis, for being here, and we'll look forward to seeing and hearing great things from you. Okay, hold on. We're going to keep it tight. We just hang on tight for a few minutes. We're just making some necessary adjustments.
1 2 1 2.
There it is.
1 2 1 2.
There it is.
Can you hear me? Mic check.
Yeah.
1 2. All right.
I hear you loud and clear.
Okay. Oh, there it is. Yeah. The song is called Take Me Away.
No, you have it. He emailed it to you. All right. So while we make the necessary adjustments, again, for those of you who missed the show, oh, you need this back? Okay. Here you go. You can always catch the rebroadcast on latalklive.com. Shout outs again to Trisha and to our intern, Josh. We hope you are feeling better and get well soon. We weren't able to make it in today. Are we ready? Q, that's it? I think we're queued up. All right. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, let's give it up for Travis Lloyd. Woo!
Take me away. Take me away. Take me. I said, take me away. Take me away. Come on. That's what I used to say. Hear my confessions. Hip hop, hear my confessions. Hip hop, hear my confessions. Hip hop, hear my confessions. Hear my confessions. Hip hop, hear my confessions. Hip hop, hear my confessions. Hip hop, these are my confessions. I ain't never been myself till I broke out of my shell. Call me Humpty Dumpty, yeah, I'm clumsy and fail, but I ain't break, I ain't shattered, I just found me a well. And I've been wishing ever since certain people would tell me that I ain't nothing, that I'm going to hell. It gives me the ambition to get it all for myself, but I ain't stingy, I ain't greedy, I'ma share all this wealth. I do it through these rhymes and these beats where they help. And I know it down, but I still sound pretty to a lady in her 50s that gave me life through her breasts. Now they both cut off, so I run through my city, pink flag in the air, and millions running with me. 2 fingers in the air for the survivors of hell. Reminds me of a time when I was dying as well. I was dying to tell the world my confessions. Now I sit and I yell, I said, take me away. Take me away. Take me. Come on. Take me away. Take me away. That's what I used to say when I felt like life was too much. Then I would confess. Hear my confessions. Hip hop, hear my confessions. Hip hop, hear my confessions. Hip hop, these are my confessions. Hear my confessions. Hip hop, hear my confessions. Hip hop, hear my confessions. Hip hop, these are my confessions. I was only age 9 when I first wished I could die. Did you hear what I said? I'm still ready to die. Yeah, I'm down for the cause, but I ain't trying to fight. I will if I must, though I will grind all night. I go from city to city and state to state, from states to the nations till they see me and wave. And I ain't trying to be great, I'm just trying to be right. The people with the money writing programs that say, here's a check, stay on welfare. Went from that to a bachelor's, now I'm on my way to a doctorate. The bottom 1% I say is just another excuse to give up, but no way. I got a grind in my heart that's only second to none. 1 in 100 is what they calling me, huh? I say probably a million, I ain't giving them none. I ain't giving them nothing from all this hustle and run. I'm a hustler, son. I ain't mean it like that. I was just having fun till my lunch money gone. And now I'm alone. And now I'm surviving, so I gotta be strong. And I gotta be right, cause they gotta be wrong. And I'm just too grown, so it's time to be gone. It's time to be gone. Time to be gone. Time to be gone. I said it's time to be gone. Take me away. Take me away. Take me.
Forgive me for all of the sin in my being.
Take me away.
Take me away.
Take me away.
Breathe life into me.
I used to say,
can you be the light?
and then I would confess. Hear my confessions. Hip hop, hear my confessions. Hip hop, hear my confessions. Hip hop, hear my confessions. Hear my confessions. Hip hop, hear my confessions. Hip hop, hear my confessions. Hip hop, these are my confessions.
Take me away.
And ladies and gentlemen, Travis Lloyd. Yes.
Thank you.
What's going on? Through it all, gospel rhythm still going strong. Trusting God when it's good or when it's going wrong. Encourage other believers to keep holding on. Casting the vision and we making it plain. We the head, not the tail, so we won't complain. Here to lift up the downcast and the brokenhearted. Changing lives with the truth, so let's get it started. We got the word, music, entertainment, life. You can catch us on the air every Sunday night with special guests, the news, and interesting stories. A platform for the kingdom to give God the glory. Worldwide and we live on the Ustream. What you know about the Gospel Rhythms magazine? But God's in it, you don't gotta chase dreams. You need to check us out and see what we mean.
That's the vision.
Okay.
Heaven's party. Here on earth, make it play. Gospel rhythms. That's the vision. Heaven's party.
got singers, rappers, spoken word, and actors, and business owners, playwriters, and pastors. There's many gifts to encourage the body. Consider this an invitation, come and kick it and party. We're evolving the way we deliver the gospel. Same message, different method.
We know there are many choices in internet radio, and the staff and hosts of LA Talk Live would like to thank you for choosing the internet's hottest destination for the most eclectic sound and invigorating talk. This is LA Talk Live. We are more than just talk.